that when I was hearing my mother speaking Spanish and playing Spanish music, that was the last thing I wanted to hear, because I wanted to be an American. And while it was nice for certain people to hear on the radio, we would hear some Javier Cugat and things like that, and this Cuban thing, and it was the Batista period, and it was the clubs and all of the, and my family would go to Cuba also. The family actually had a reunification period sometimes with a family from Argentina. Actually, in 1961, that suddenly discontinued, and something happened to the family, and apparently they were perhaps even killed by Perón.
Oh,
they were, I know that they were leftists, and I used to collect stamps and postal materials, so I still have the envelopes that the family would send to write to them, and the envelopes would come back, the letter missing, and the envelope would just say persona no
conoce.
Unknown person. But they would be opened and there'd be no letter.
Yes. No letter.
Yes, but returned. Yes. My aunt was going particularly to Cuba a lot. And my father's family also had Caribbean activity. Yes, you wanted to ask something?
Yes, I want. When did you the first one?
Yes.
You find Agada.
Yes. So when my father was teaching me Hebrew, and I began to meet Jewish kids and begin to purchase books. So I started being more open about my knowledge of things, and I could have dialogue with people, and I could have I wouldn't want to call it arguments, but I could have discussions about Christianity and Judaism and elements of these religions, and I became very interested in religion. At the time, my father was, through friendships that he had had from other prisoners of war, and after his rehabilitation, he joined a kind of it was kind of a Christian church thing. It was more of a meditation thing and affirmations and things like that. And it had a scout troop, and I was involved in the scouts, and I would participate in the youth activities of that church. But I could argue out things and have discussions with teachers of that church and different leaders and whatnot. My father would he would often call me his little rabbi. But I wanted to really, I wanted to practice some Jewish things. And there was a Chabad circuit. He wasn't yet a rabbi. He was still a rabbinic student, but he was sent by Chabad to visit and to live and visit in a circuit of farm states, rural. This is rural America, you know. This is not New York. This is Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, and he would go around to all these places. And I made a connection with him. I don't remember how that happened. Perhaps I had started subscribing to the Jewish newspaper. I don't remember. But anyway, he gave me some books and things, and I decided one year I was going to buy a Hanukkah. And so I went to the Jewish Community Center and bought a Hanukkah, and it was a nice, beautiful Israeli, this blue patina. It's a style that you don't have anymore in Israel, but it had Aron Kodesh, and it had doors you could open up, and there were 10 Commandments, and I could read all of these things.
Yeah.
So, and I knew what they were. And I would light the Hanukkah I would light it, and then I would read the book that he gave me of the stories by the light of the Hanukkah candle. So here I went, what was I doing? I don't know. I mean, was it not sinking in? You're not supposed to make use of the shamash. I don't know. That was kind of funny how I could justify these kinds of things, but that's what I would do. Years later, things deteriorated. My mother was getting very ill. She would have, at the time we didn't understand that they were strokes, and she was suffering from minor strokes, but they were affecting her abilities to think properly. She was losing her memory. She'd lose a lot of things. She was not managing the farm very well, and eventually we needed to have, my aunt decided it was really she needed to have professional care in an old age home. And my father had also kind of left, and so the house was shut up for quite a while. And then in 1968, we had the Martin Luther King assassination.
Yes.
And there were riots. And where a lot of the students were living, I was very involved in Jewish student organizations and very involved in things like that. And so I offered my house as a place to get away from this trouble, because we had National Guard shooting. National Guard brought in tanks, and yeah, it was terrible. And also you couldn't buy gasoline. The banks were closed, and it was Pesach. So we pooled our money together and opened up the house. There was a trunk in a shelter. We had a tornado shelter, and we opened up the trunk, and we were fooling around with a lot of things because we needed to have dishes and we needed to have different things to pull this Seder off. And the trunk had many old things, including this very interesting Hanukkah.
Hanukkah.
Now, I later, here in Israel, got very involved in Jewish art, and I'm interested in ethnography, Jewish art ethnography, and I take all kinds of seminars and things. And there was also this set of candlesticks. There were many sets of candlesticks. I just didn't bring them all. Well, I don't know. You want to think that that's Nerot Shabbat. Maybe it is. I know that my mother was always lighting candles. My mother was also lighting incense. And she would actually make the incense. It was made from pine material, and she could